yesterday I was working out in the shop, and like I said, it was really cold, but I have some insulated coveralls I put on. But yeah, I don't think it got below. That was about 40s, 48 here, which is cold right now. It's 43, and it's dropping. But a different cold.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start the live stream up, and I will talk to you during the net. You got anything to tie up, or any useful information?
No, not really. I've been thinking about stuff, but nothing really that stands out. We'll talk with you later. W6UG.
All right, K6UDA, getting ready for the net. KD8IOK, K6UDA. Good morning. Ah, good. I'm gonna start when I start the net, I'll do the preamble thing, and we'll take care of any old business, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you and let you go through everything. And if you want to go through it in little chunks, and then we can open it up for comments and questions and everything along the way, or however you want to run it.
Sounds good. Yeah, I was thinking we'd do the little chunk and then solicit for responses, and then another little chunk and more responses.
Perfect. Sounds great. I will talk to you in a few. K6UDA. How come I'm not hearing you? I heard something very faint, but not showing up on the computer, and it's not really coming through the radio. Okay, that was me, guys. It was actually the coming back, feeding back through the live stream. Isn't that interesting? So I just had to mute that. K6UDA, getting ready for the net. Okay. Well, good morning. Let me make sure my levels are up. Yep. Okay. Roadcaster's in. And sound card's on. Everything's on. Looks good. Thumbs up if you guys on the live stream can hear me. And if you can hear the radio. Nothing yet. We'll see. Okay. Let's switch over to this one here. 27 people in the room already. Wow. We'll see. Nice. And okay. Looks like 10 thumbs up. Switch over. I'd like to get 27 thumbs up at least to this one here. You know what? I'm good with 10 for right now. 27 people. FJ Hoosier can hear me. Definitely sounds like better when I turn the boom toward the speaker. I'd like to get 27 thumbs up at least to, I will do that to this one here. You know what? Toward the speaker. I'm good with 10 for right now. 27 people. FJ Hoosier. If I ran here and moved that, yeah, there's the setup. There's the speaker over there. And Jeff, when you do your thing, I'll definitely put the mic back over there. But we'll run this back over to here. Yeah, there's the setup. There's the speaker over there. Very, very cool. Jeff, when you thumbs up, when you do your thing, thumbs up, baby. I'll definitely put the mic back over there. But we'll run this back over to here. Currently under a blizzard.
Hey Bob, K6QD is KD8I okay?
Very, very cool. Jeff? Yeah, Jeff, go ahead. Thumbs up. When you do your thing. Thumbs up, baby. I'll definitely put the mic back over there. But we'll run this currently under a blizzard.
Hey Bob, K6QD is KD8I okay?
Very, very cool. Jeff? Yeah, Jeff, go ahead. Thumbs up. When you do your thing. Thumbs up, baby. Jeff, go ahead. The mic back over there. But we'll run this currently under a blizzard.
Hey Bob, K6QD is KD8I okay?
Very, very cool.
Yeah, Bob, you've got like two audio sources coming through on the live stream. It's like your two cameras are synced differently. And it's echoing yourself pretty bad.
But we'll run this okay. I gotta figure out then what is going on. Oh, system audio.
Yeah, Bob, you've got
mute. Okay. How about that? Is that any better now? I'll give you both a live and on the radio test. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Is the audio delay gone?
Affirmative, it's gone.
Okay, very good. Let's see, 1 minute to go start the net here. Bring that level down. Okay. And let's bring up this. And all right, good morning. It is 9 o'clock. Welcome to the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. This net meets each Saturday morning, 0900 hours Mountain Time, here on the K6 UDA repeater located in Twin Falls, Idaho. This is a digital-only net accessible via Wires X Room 40448. That's the Idaho command. And also on YSF Reflector 56026, the YouTubers room. Although I hear that I'm wiping it out, my buddy, local buddy, is going to come over next week and help me sort that one out. You can also, if you're local here in the Magic Valley of southern Idaho, you'll be able to pick this up on the Hanson Butte 2-meter fusion repeater on 145170, and local hams without a digital radio can also monitor on 442.00 in analog mode and participate. The purpose of this net is the free exchange of information related to emergency preparedness, commonly known as prepping. We encourage deep dives into subjects related to food, water, shelter, personal protection, weapons, survival tactics, medical issues, communications gear, and techniques. I'm also looking for subject matter experts to lead discussions on all these various subjects. If you have material you'd like to present or discuss, when you check in, please indicate that you have a subject. Although not primarily political, discussion of relative political, cultural, or religious events are welcome in the context of situational awareness and survival. In order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, I'm going to do check-ins and comments in the following order. I'll ask for local repeater check-ins, and if you're on one of the 3 local repeaters, that's when you can check in. I will ask for Wires X check-ins. So if you're on a Wires X node, that's when your time is. And then YSF check-ins. If you're on the YouTubers YSF Reflector, that's when you'll do it. And then from time to time here, I'll try to get on the live stream comments. Just as a side note, for whatever reason, I guess the 442, I'm getting a message here from Alan saying he's getting nothing on the 442.00. I don't control that repeater, so I don't know what's going on, and I'm not going to spend time during the net trying to fix something from another repeater. So we'll just have to go without that one today. Let's see. Do we have any local repeater check-ins?
KK7, VE, Kelly and Kimberly.
All right, Kelly, good to have you in there. And KK7DEV, got you in the log. Any other local check-ins?
KK7, RIR, Terry and Twin Falls.
All right, good morning, Terry, in Twin Falls. Local check-ins. All right, how about Wires X check-ins? Anybody want to check in on Wires X?
in from Gulf, California on wires X, and I'm using a PDN.
Thank you, Doug. And I saw Jeff in there, KD8IOK. Good morning, Jeff.
And 7RBP in Medford, Oregon.
And N7RBP in Medford. Good to have you in there.
KN6EVQ from Patterson, California. Mark.
KN6EVQ out from California. Thanks for checking in. This is your first time checking in or first time on the net? Okay, we'll just continue on with the check-ins. Any other check-ins? Wires X, YSF, local, anybody?
Yeah, first time checking in, Bob.
All right, very good. Any other check-ins? Anywhere, any mode?
Juliet Alpha Papa, W5JAP, Jim in Abilene, Texas.
Okay, Jim, got you in there in Texas. Man, we got a lot of good check-ins today. Awesome. And then I did see another one in there. There was no audio, but I forget the call sign. That's the one thing I don't like about Wires X and the Yaesu system is it doesn't log the call signs unless I put the radio into GM mode, and I generally don't. I'll go one more round of check-ins, and then we'll start getting into it today. Okay. Do we have any old business, anything from prior nets or anything that anybody wants to share with the group to start off with? Okay, I heard something, didn't see anything come up on the displays or anything. Try again. All right, I see a K7YAZ coming up on the dashboard, but no audio. Well, for today, guys, we're talking about our ham radio toolboxes, different tools, different methods of staying in communications and working through an SHTF event. And for today, all this material comes from Jeff, KD8IOK. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff and let him go ahead and present this stuff. Jeff, KD8IOK, K6UDA, the floor is yours.
KDIOK, good morning, Bob, and everybody else on the net. So Bob and I have been chatting back and forth via email, and he asked if I could come up with some ideas based off of a suggestion that I made, basically detailing what kind of frequencies should we use on our radios, how are we going to be heard, and ideas and resources to come up with these frequencies. So I put together a list, and I'm going to go through it in little chunks and give people opportunity to respond, both on the net and on the live stream, and we'll go from there. So, starting off, I look at things like, what are our objectives for using amateur radio in any SHTF or any other disaster type situation, be it a storm, a flood, a forest fire, or civil unrest? And my objectives, which yours might be different, and I'm just giving you mine so that it can maybe spark your brain and create some juices flowing to give you some ideas. My objectives are, I want local communication, whether it be with my family, my neighborhood, or my town. Do you have frequencies in mind to use? Do the people that you want to communicate with also know these frequencies? Have you tested them in a non-emergent situation to know that they work and that you can all communicate the way that you want? Also, I want information gathering. I want to hear the news, if there is any. I'd like to know what the weather is, especially if it's a weather event that's causing the emergency. And I'd like to know what's going on in the neighborhood via what are my local emergency services dealing with. I'd like to have cross-platform communication, maybe with the Mars or Cap mod if I don't have a GMRS radio. Doing the Mars Cap mod is good for listening to GMRS, although technically illegal to transmit from an amateur radio on these frequencies. We'll discuss the emergency communications in a couple minutes. So the next question that would come up is, what channels or frequencies should you have? And I look at amateur radio. I'm going to focus on technician level bands because we can all use them. And the reason I say technician level bands is because if we want to practice on them, even though we can communicate on other bands in an emergency, we can't practice on them if we're not a general or an extra level amateur radio operator. So that's why I'm focusing on technician. Obviously in emergencies, we can communicate by any means necessary. And with the increased license levels, more bands open up. But again, in an emergency, we can transmit on any bands. But the key thing to remember is the emergency is what the FCC considers an emergency, not what we consider an emergency. So if it's not a local or national level emergency, odds are it might not be legal to transmit outside of our band allowance of our licensure level. That being said, if it's life-threatening, we can transmit on any band that we have access to. So what kind of frequencies would be important? To me, I think national calling frequency for the bands that our radios are capable of. Some of those bands are going to be 2-meter VHF, the big one. And that national calling frequency would be 146.5200. On the 70 centimeter or UHF band, the national calling frequency is going to be 446.000. And if you're fortunate enough to have a quad band radio, some of the lesser used bands, 1.25 centimeter, the 220 megahertz band, that would be 223.500. Most radios don't support this, but it could allow more stealthy communication because your local group might not be able to be listened into as much. Same goes through with the 6 meter, 50 megahertz, 52.525. Just like the 1.25 centimeter, it's going to provide less eavesdropping. The key that we need to remember is that nothing over the radio is ever secure. break in case anybody else has any ideas for other frequencies.
If anybody wants to chime in, questions, comments at this time, go ahead. All right, this is K6UDA on the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net with KD8IOK. Jeff, go ahead and take it.
Okay, KD8IOK continuing. Something else I think is important to have programmed into my radio, at least, is AM/FM radio stations. It's good to hear local news and traffic, just like you can hear in your car. And in an EMP event, like we discussed last week, your car might be dead, but your HT might survive if it was protected appropriately during the event. Another important thing to consider is NOAA radio, NOAA. I'm not going to list them all, but there's 7 frequencies for NOAA. Their link to get those frequencies, www.weather.gov/NWR/station_listing. You can click on your state at that website. It'll give you what frequency is used in different areas of your state. You can select the one that's closest to you and or where you intend to be so that you can hear local reception of the weather in that area so that you're up to speed locally. I'll also list the websites that I'm going to cite during this in the YouTube chat so everybody's got them up on their screen. I'm just going to do it in between talking. Another one that I like to listen to is local Skywarn frequencies. I am a Skywarn spotter, so I listen to those frequencies. They're invaluable after a storm when damage reports start trickling in so you can know what's going on in your area. And you should be able to Google these frequencies. They're also listed in the repeater book, which we'll discuss in a minute. And lastly, I like to have local emergency operations center frequencies, especially for things like ARES and RACES, of which I used to be a member of, but those organizations kind of piddled away in my area, so I'm not a member any longer. But if you have a local EOC and they do have ARES and RACES, or just the EOC traffic itself, local radio clubs should have these frequencies. It's also public information, so you should be able to Google and get them off of other guides. And I'll break in case anybody has any input.
Anybody, if anybody has anything at this point, go ahead and key up. All right, Jeff, it's yours again.
Sorry for the delay, I was typing in the chat. Okay, so the next question is, where can you locate some of these frequencies? How do you know what to listen to? And I've got several references that I use. First one being Repeater Book. It's a good app. It's also a desktop application. Obviously not good if your power or your internet were to die, but it's a good resource for today while you're planning. The next one is radioreference.com. Radio Reference has a listing of all of the frequencies you could ever want to be able to hear in a time of need. Everybody's desires may be different, and there's definitely more frequencies in radio reference if you could ever need or ever program into a radio. Third, I have Google. I suggest using Google to research your local band plan, know what your state's allocations are for amateur frequencies, for different repeater coordination. Most state band plans follow the ARRL band plan, but for instance, Arizona, which is where I'm currently located, so I'm using them as an example, they incorporate a little modification and change to the local users, and this is to account for unique geographical situations like mountains, valleys, deserts, things of that nature. Lastly, I have FOGs, or Field Operation Guides. There are several, with the major one being the National Interoperability FOG, which is put out by Homeland Security. This one exists in both print and as a PDF on the internet, which I've already entered the last website in the chat. It's www.cisa.gov/SAFECOM, SAFECOM/field-operations-guides. That website contains all the frequencies for pretty much every agency that would be used for emergency situations with the federal government. That one contains all frequencies pretty much for every agency that the federal government would have oversight of. Also at this link, there are downloads for the Auxiliary Communications FOG. There's programming guides for interoperability of radio channels, as well as a programming template for the interoperability of radio channels. And I'm going to pause in case anybody else has any suggestions on where they might, or what they might use for different resources for information like this.
Yeah, I'll just key up and do an ID since I can think about this stuff. This is K6UDA and KD8IOK presenting for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. And just FYI, people, we got 8 nodes connected on Wires X right now, and 41 people in the chat on the live stream. So good showing. Jeff, go ahead. It's take it away again.
KD8IOK for ID. Okay, so we got all the information, we've got all the resources. So what do we do with it? The number one thing, get your radios programmed. And also, even if you're using Chirp or any other programming software, I recommend knowing how to manually program your radio in the event that your programming mechanism is no longer available. Power outage, EMP, whatever the reason. Know how to do it manually. Make cheat sheets or flashcards for your different radios if needed, so you don't have to carry around the manuals, or in case you lose the manuals, and keep them right with the radios. If your radios aren't programmed, you don't have a plan for what to do with them, formulate a plan today. Get them programmed before you need them. I find it helpful if, within reason, all of the HTs, at least that I own, are programmed similarly, so it shouldn't matter which one I physically have in the event of a disaster. They all work essentially the same, and it's easy to get to the desired channel or frequency due to muscle memory. In case your main HT dies, your others are similar, and if you haven't programmed them all similar, then you should train with all of them so that you stay familiar with the usage and function of all of them. Prioritize and prioritize and group things together that make sense to you. Example, You could put all your AM, FM stations together in a bank, all your NOAA stations together in a bank, or even program them in regions. For example, I used to travel a lot between Michigan and Florida, and I used to have different regions set up in different banks, basically by state, as I would travel down from Michigan through Ohio and Kentucky and Tennessee and Georgia and Florida. I would put all of the frequencies for each state in a bank, and that way I could just switch banks on my radio and be able to have interoperability. And remember, again, each situation is unique. For what works for you, what works for me may not work for you, so do what you're comfortable with. And pretty much, that's all that I came up with for this. And to summarize, I've been part of this chat and this net from the onset, and I love what it stands for and what Bob's trying to do. I just wanted to share my take of information on this. And so, know what's available to you locally, countywide, statewide, even nationally, what frequencies are used so that you can be able to monitor them. And again, what you want to monitor is probably different than what I want to monitor. Keep in mind that a lot of police agencies have switched over to the digital radio system that takes specialized scanners to listen in on, but some have not. And a lot of the fire service agencies still broadcast on their VHF systems to set off their pagers. So that way, it makes for a good resource to listen to their, at least call-out frequencies, so you know what's going on in times of disaster. If nothing else, it gives you a good idea what's going on around you. Work with your local groups like this net. Hopefully you can find a local net to get on the same page for what frequencies work best for them. Formulate your plan. Hopefully you get something out of this presentation that you can come up with a plan of your own. Implement your plan, and then exercise your plan. And my recommendation is practice, 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 and do that during fair weather before you need it when the weather gets foul. And with that, I will turn it back over to the net as I have finished my presentation. Thanks for the opportunity, Bob. KD8IOK.
All right, Jeff, thank you for that. And for everybody else, this is kind of what I have envisioned this net is all about. Kind of up until today, I've sat here behind the mic and pretty much presented things with a little bit of help from Doug, who out in California, who's had some insight, and from Terry, KJ7RAR, who's a local friend here and helping out a little bit. I want you guys to help me and help each other with all the information. That's kind of what this is, what this net is all about. I didn't envision it as something that I'm going to get up here and talk to you about because I don't know everything. I'm trying to feel my way through this just like everybody else. With that, a couple of other things that I am or that I wanted to kind of get across as far as your ham radio toolbox, and I'm going to let it drop here. Is your physical ham radio toolbox. When something happens, if you've got, say, a tower at your property that comes down, something like that, you might have to build something ad hoc. You might have to put up a wire antenna in order to be able to receive at least and get some information out there. So my thinking is you want to have an extra long wire antenna or a dipole antenna stowed away, something that you can throw up with some string and a rock between two trees and at least get back on the air fairly easily. Having an assortment of connectors, because you never know what where you're going to end up or how you're going to have to deploy your radios. Having batteries, charged up batteries that can power up your stuff, and knowing how to do it, knowing how to wire up all of the radios that you have. If all you have is a handheld radio, how are you going to charge that handheld radio if, say, the power's out and your batteries are now running low? You've had it on for 4 or 6 hours. Batteries are running low. How are you going to charge that up? Do you have extra batteries? Do you have a method of recharging that handheld radio? Lots and lots of things to consider here. I'm going to let it break. And I'm going to ask for input. Does anybody have any input on the air or even on the live chat? And I will I'll relay the live chat stuff.
W6DUG.
Yeah, Doug, go ahead.
I have a comment and then a question for the group. The comment is, I know we've talked about communications and finding out what's going on around us. A lot of us rely on direct TV with local stations and things like that. Stuff that requires the internet. And I went down to Walmart and got, it's about a 12 by 12 antenna, because all of the radio stations, or all the TV stations that broadcast are required to broadcast in digital. And if you have a digital monitor, a TV, you can pick up your local stations with just an antenna. I've got one that we built into the attic years and years ago, 35 years ago. But I also have this it's a 12 by 12 antenna, flat antenna that you can either put on a window, or I've got it on an interior wall that plugs into where your antenna goes, and I can pick up all the digital stations from Sacramento. In fact, I can pick up more stations than I ever thought were even up there. So that might be something you can consider. It's a very inexpensive method to increase your ability to find out what's going on around you. I'm going to let it drop here, W6DUG. And then my question is regarding the Mars mod. What is required? I've tried to go on the internet and do a little research on it, and I know what the official rule is, but what is, when you go to a radio outlet or one of those places that does the radio Mars mod, do you have to be part of the Mars group to get it modified, or do you just have to go in and pay the bill?
K6UDA with a, I hope it's a good solid answer. I think you just have to pay the bill, be willing to pay the bill, or do the mod yourself. Normally, you could find the mod online. You can, it's usually just either clipping a capacitor or a chip in your radio, and then what that'll do is it'll reset the radio, so you'll have to reload all of your programming in there. So it's much easier if you've got the programming already done, and you can reload it very quickly after you've done the Mars mod. I don't think. Well, I know that like everything else, no extra license, no extra certifications or memberships are needed to monitor the Mars stations. But you do have to be part of the Mars group to transmit there. That being said, after an SHTF event, and if the rule of law is pretty much gone, so is FCC enforcement, and I think at that point it is the wild, wild west. Anybody else have anything on that? Oh, and very good information. Thanks, Doug, on on the digital TV and getting some intel from your local digital TV stations if they're still up, and if you still have electricity to run the TV. Anybody else with any comments? I see K7YAZ in there, but I'm not getting any audio from you. If you've got a question or a comment, maybe log into the live stream at this point and try asking it over there. Anybody else?
HA7RAR.
Terry, go ahead. The floor is yours.
I just wanted to add what Doug was talking about regarding the TV. Just for something simple. If you don't have an antenna, I stuck a copper wire, probably about a foot long, into the socket, the hole in the back where you normally stick your antenna wire. I put it in there, and it works great as a antenna for air TV. So I just thought I'd throw that out.
And is that dragging in your digital stations?
I'm able to get air TV with it, so I just kind of point it in the direction where the antennas are at for the TV stations, and that's the one I use for air TV. So it's in my digital TV. So I don't know what I get other than I get quite a few channels, and it's just one solid brass or copper, whatever it is, wire that I stick in there, and it works. It works real well. Over.
Okay, very good. Good information. So everybody's got a digital TV antenna. All you need to do is bend it in the right shape and plug it in. Anybody else have anything? All right. Well, I don't have anything else. So, I kind of let Jeff run on this one. And Jeff, thank you. Great information. I want to thank everybody for joining the net today. I'm going to leave the live stream up for a few minutes, And so if you're on the net right now and you want to come join over on the live stream, please do that. And we'll kind of continue it over there for a few minutes. And until then, or until next week, again, thank you guys for participating in the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Again, Saturday mornings, 0900 Mountain Time. That is 1600 hours UTC. Here on Wires X 40448 and YSF 56026, the YouTubers reflector on YSF. Guys, thanks a lot, and I'm going to return all the repeaters to their normal everyday operation. This is K6UDA. All right, guys. Hey, this has been a fun net. I've enjoyed being just part of the audience here. Very, very cool. Yeah, Doug, I believe all the TV stations are mandated to be digital now. I think there might be a couple of UHF stations, a couple of maybe like the Mexican or ethnic kind of stations that might still be transmitting in the old UHF bands. I don't know. Let's see. Always be monitoring isn't only for radio. Well, you know what? TV is also radio. It's the same thing. Ham Radio Tube is in the house. And let's see, Jim from Texas in the house. Still a group of straggler analog stations in some areas, but 99% are digital. That from Mr. Guerrero. Tom Moore says, good net. Thank you. Having good. Wow, 49 people in the house right now. That is freaking awesome. I love that. Definitely not letting my website postings come through. Weird. Yeah, Jeff, I don't think YouTube chats will. You can actually post your website. If you've got a website, I think you could post the website address in the chat, and I think that might come through. Or you could post it in the comments after this thing goes, after we're done here, and you come back through the playback. Let's see. Anybody else got anything for the good of the net? Anything prepper related? Anything? Yeah, Bob for president. Gotta love that one. As a matter of fact, I'm working on a video right now. It's an ARRL video. It might piss a few people off. And I don't think the ARRL is going to be wanting me for president. Transmitting into the room, but you cannot hear me. That's K7YAZ. Brad, were you transmitting in a Wires X room or a Wires X node, or were you transmitting into YSF? That was my big question. Let's see. Hotspot has a YSF option. I'll eventually get my hotspot on YSF. And Jeff, I'll try that because it won't let me come through in the chat. Yeah, sometimes the chat doesn't do things that. But you know what? You could write out the word dot, and it might just take it. I don't know. So, K7ID. So it looks like Brad, I just saw you pop up again on the dashboard, and it looks like you came through K7ID. I think that is one of the nodes in the Boise area. So it looks like you came through over there. I don't know if you have Wires X on your own. If you've got a Wires X node or a PDN node, you can directly hook yourself up to the Idaho command here in the Magic Valley. And guys, for those of you around the country, around the world who don't know, the Boise area is in the Treasure Valley. Here in Twin Falls, where I'm at, and where it's currently snowing like a mofo, this is called the Magic Valley. So, just some stupid information for you. Let's see. Since you've moved to Idaho, welcome, by the way. Do you feel freer? I do. I feel like I am a true American now. I am back to being a citizen and not a subject. Let's see. The radio is beeping away at me here. Still got 7 nodes hooked up, which is very, very cool. Guys, by the way, if you're hooked up to the Idaho command, you can hook up to the Idaho command anytime. You can leave your node connected to the Idaho command. Normally, there's 2 of us in here. KB7SQS repeater is in there, and the K6UDA repeater are normally hooked up. And people drop by from time to time. I'd love to talk to you on the radio during the week or whenever. Let's see. Steel Wolf is in the Pocatello area in the Armpit Valley. Nice. Very cool. Yeah. We go through Pocatello from time to time, going up into the Rexburg area for different stuff, transmitting into a simplex system here in Post Falls. All right, Brad, something is not working on your side. Maybe, and it just might be, that you have just enough power that when you transmit into, or you've got just enough signal that when you're transmitting, when you hit the transmit button on your radio, it's firing up the other node in Post Falls, but you don't have enough power, you don't have enough signal to get your audio signal out to that node. That very well could be, I don't know what kind of an antenna. If you're running the this stupid little rubber duck, that could be a big problem. I would suggest right away a different antenna. I would suggest putting it into, let's see, and I don't see K7ID repeater is still hooked up here. So the only thing I could think of is you don't have enough signal. If you've got a mag mount antenna that you can hook up to your radio, if you've got an outside antenna, you have a 50 watt transceiver. And how far away are you from the K7ID repeater or node? That would be a question of mine. Let's see. I don't know. What else shall we talk about today? Does anybody else have any topics you want to bring up? Prepper or not? 5 miles. Man, dude, you should be in there. You've got something going on. Maybe it's a configuration issue. I would get a hold of K7 or N7 ID and find out if he's got some kind of a block or from time to time. The Rona is still lingering there, but I've done pretty good. And K7 ID, it's showing as a repeater. So maybe turn your power down. Try that. You might, I don't know, 5 miles. You're probably not blowing him out. But I don't know, dude. I'd love to have you be able to get in. Let's see. Been out of the loop for a while. You got both studios set up now. From N8YO. Yes, I have Studio A right here. Studio A is equipped with the FTM 400 behind the mic over here. That's what we've been using for the net. And I also have now had the ICOM 7300. Now I've got an FTDX10 in here, the Yaesu. I love that radio. I also love the 7300, but unfortunately I'm not made of money, so it's not like I can just keep every radio that I buy. So I ended up selling the 7300 to pay for most of the DX10 here. Out in Studio B, which is out in the shop, I have my old Elecraft K3S set up. That's got the 500 watt amplifier. I've got a tower out there, the 40-foot tower with a hex beam and an 80-meter dipole on that. Studio B also has the K6 UDA repeater is in there. And then over here on this side of the room, and let me just switch cameras here. Over there, that is the K6 UDA node over there. That's the node radio, an FTM 100 with the HRI 200, a very, very cheap ass little Lenovo computer sitting over there, and that's on all the time. My up top on the top shelf that you can't really see is all the internet stuff. I've got a couple of old blue open spots. I've got one set up on D-Star, one set up for the YSF side of the house, and then I have a couple of what is it? Not Pi Stars, Raspberry Pis that I've got configured over there as one for Flight Radar 24. I'm a server or a radar station for Flight Radar 24, and another one of the other ones. I need to. Let's see. Let me come back over here. Let's see. Suggestion: get a printed version of NIF National Interoperability Field Guide. Ooh, good idea. I like that idea. I need to get a hold of one of those. Studio B. Is that when Karen is mad at you? Yeah, well, it doubles there, my friend. Yeah. So I can print it off at the website. Can't post it. Of course not. Won't let you post anything. Let me go back over to this screen here, and so everybody can look at that. 40 people still in the house. That is freaking awesome. Thank you, guys. This is awesome. My computer here says my mouse battery is very, very low. I've got one of these Apple Mises, and when I plug this in to charge it, it doesn't work. Isn't that nice? Let's see. Jim from Texas says, Bob, thank you for being a ham radio 2A advocate. Your overall knowledge, law enforcement history provides great overall perspective on those topics. Please keep it going, my friend. Keep being a patriot. Thank you. Dude, that's awesome. That is awesome. Don't claim to be an expert at anything. I'm not. As my friend Doug, a fellow law enforcement guy, will attest to. Doug, I am no expert in anything, am I? Let's see. Mike says he used to feed an ADSB exchange, but they sold out to Flight Radar, where private and military can't be tracked. Now I don't feed anyone. Yeah, well, I fed both of them. What was it? Flight Radar sent me wow. Oh, somebody just popped up. Oh, and now I just went away. K9 MRD just kicked me out. Just kicked me out of my own room. Nice. Let's go back to the Idaho command. Nobody's connected up. There we are. Back to the Idaho command. I should set that up so I can't get kicked out. But, what is it? Let me look up my ADSB. Okay, Radar Box. Yes, Radar Box a couple of years ago sent me their Radar Box antenna. And what I did is I finally got the thing configured. I've been feeding them information, and I've also been feeding Flight Radar 24 off the same antenna, which is, I mean, it is stupid. It is a little, I'm going to move this around here. Right there in the window, you could see that's my Flight Radar antenna. And I will move that back to here. So I'm feeding two services right now. And let's see. Have no idea. Ham Radio Tube has no idea what he's doing. Great OSB configuration. Where's the patch collection? The patch collection is right back there. There's one of them. And then I've got another one out in Studio B. I gotta start promoting that again. The patch collection. Man, for you guys that have contributed to my patch collection, thank you. That's kind of cool. That's very cool. 2 days of winter, no big deal. On this day in history, let's just look on this day in history. The Knights Templar were formed. Now I'm out. 7-3. Steel Wolf 13, thanks. And 7-3. All right, guys. We've been on for a little bit over an hour now. And if nobody else has any comments, has any topics they want to bring up, I think it's time for me to go grab some breakfast and start doing some stuff around here. And thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for all being part of the live stream, being a big part of the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Remember, guys, if you've got a topic you want to hear about, a preparedness topic, anything, especially like medical, that I am way, way down on the bottom of the rung in medical, please give me some information, give me some help if you've got that information. We'll do one on maybe we'll do a 2A one. Preparedness weapons. I don't know. Give me ideas. Send me emails at k6udaradio@gmail.com. Send them this week. I'm going to start putting something together. And yeah, I think next week we will do some sort of prepper weapons setup. Anyway, guys, thanks again for joining me. And I'm going to go ahead and kill this one off. It's been a great net. 46 thumbs up. 37 still in the house with 6 nodes still listening or monitoring over there on the ham radio. Love it. Talk to you guys later. I'm Bob, K6UDA. I'm out of here. 7-3, my friends.